Yo, what is going on, guys? Storm, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have for the PCL D-League draft analysis. This is a Wi-Fi league, which is new to this channel, and just new to me in general. I've never done a Wi-Fi league before, so that's exciting. It's also the first Ubers league I've been in, which, again, that is exciting. But also kind of scary because there is a few Ubers allowed. Okay, it's an S tier, which has some of the best stuff that's kind of sometimes banned and sometimes not, and also just some Ubers which are always banned. You know, stuff like Darkrai, Genesect, Dialga, those three have been allowed. I think there was a few more. Sheer Force Lando, I believe is allowed. I'm actually not sure what else, Ubers wise. I know a couple of OU things like Magina, Lele, Protean Gran, I believe. I think Ashgren's still banned, which I kind of find a bit weird, because I feel like it definitely isn't better than everything we have allowed, but, you know, it's fine. It definitely would not have been a one I would have gone for, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I got second pick in the draft, which is definitely very good. Again, I mean, obviously I'd prefer first pick, but second pick's still fine. One off wheel is not bad. Considering I normally get like halfway through a draft, I will definitely take second. So, my first pick of this season, and my S tier Pokemon, is Magina. This mon is so good. One of the things I really love about this is you can run it both offensively and defensively. You know, with the Assault Vest, this thing is a tank. I mean, it has base 115 Spadef already, so pair it with the Assault Vest and is living a lot of hits, and it still has very good damage output since it's got base 130 special attack. I mean, it pretty much has great stats everywhere, other than speed, which is base 65, which, I mean, that still works. My team definitely can work under Trick Room, so I was kind of drafting around that in a way, so that's something. And the fact it is high enough speed to where I can use Shift Gear and speed that up, because Shift Gear offensive is something I'm very excited to use as well, since this thing hits very hard on both sides. I mean, base 95 attack, while not incredible, it's pretty good, and this thing has some really good move options. You know, it can hit pretty much everything, at least neutrally. It can hit most things super effectively with something it has. You know, the coverage this thing gets is really good. It gets like Aura Sphere, Energy Ball, Flash Cannon, Floor Cannon, Ice Beam, T-Bolt, Shadow Ball, Volt Switch, Signal Beam. That's like all the special stuff, and Hidden Power, of course. So that's really nice with the options it gets. And Shift Gear is also really nice for setup. Calm Mind's there, which I don't think I'm ever going to use in this season, but maybe. Also gets Heart Swap, which I really like as a move, as, you know, setup sweepers are extremely common in Draft League, and this thing can pretty much stop. It can stop any of the slower ones. You know, if it's like a physical threat that's like Dragon Dancing or anything else that like boosts your speed, you know, that probably can't. It probably can't stop that. But things like Reuniclus, Gothitelle, just any other Carmine sweepers, this thing can just let them get +6 and then take their boosts away from them, and then potentially reverse sweep them if I bring like Shift Gear, Hard Swap, 2 attacks. That could be really effective against some teams in here. So, you know, Beginner's incredible. Now, let's move on to my second pick. My second pick is my Mega. I wanted to grab the Mega early, even though I was sure it wouldn't go for at least a bit longer, and I could definitely wait on this. But I wanted to get this Mega specifically. I was planning on drafting it in whatever league I join next. So I was originally thinking probably WPL next season, but then we joined this. So Mega Venusaur is the Mega I'm grabbing this season. I love this thing. Both times I've made it to finals, which I've made it to 2 finals in leagues. This has been on both those drafts. I mean, there's a few other ones I think have been on both. Keldeo, I'm pretty sure as well. But this mon's incredible. I love this Pokemon. Has some really good stats. I mean, every stat is above 80, which is at least something. You know, HP and speed are both 80. Attack is 100. Special attack is 122. Speed F 120. And defense is 123. so it can live a lot of hits. Gets Fig Fat as its ability, which is really good because it pretty much makes fire and ice just not even threatening to this thing. As it's so bulky, those types aren't even scary to it, meaning there really isn't too many ways to break this. Of course, it still has some weaknesses, you know, Psychic, Flying. I'm pretty sure there's a few more than I'm forgetting, but you know, without those ice and fire weaknesses, that very much helps. This can beat so many mons, get some really nice coverage with it doesn't get the best coverage actually thinking about it, but it gets pretty good stuff. Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, of course Hidden Power, Knockoff, Earthquake, Leech Seed, Synthesis, Sleep Powder. Also gets Screens, which I don't know if I'd ever use Screens on this, but it gets them. So that's something. Also gets like Raw, which could be nice. Toxic is right there. That could be nice. But yeah, I mean, this thing is a really good wall, and that's the main thing I was drafting it for. So let's move on to my next pick. My next pick was Mamoswine. Now you may be asking, why did you grab this so early? I could have waited on this round for like at least another 2 rounds potentially. The reason I grabbed this so early is because we had a fire sale for this round. Now, if you don't know what a fire sale is, it is something that this league decided to go with. Every round, there will be 10 Pokemon from a specific tier that are on sale for the price of the tier below. So, when I picked this Mamoswine, it was on the price of a tier 3 mon, which I couldn't pass that up. Tier 3 Mamoswine? There was no way I'd pass that up. Also, it's a real, you know, as it's tier 3, that means I don't waste too many points on this, as I wasted quite a few on Magearna, so I can grab this and probably a few more threats with my free points, because I believe you get 500, and Magearna was 200, I believe this was 120, so I have 180 points to use on my last 2, and tier 5 only costs 40 points, so I could grab a tier 2 if I wanted to, with the remaining 3 points, which I thought that was a pretty great thing for my team. So Mamoswine is a really good mon, mainly offense. There isn't really too many options if you don't want to run offensive. Of course, rocks are there. This is going to be one of the main rock setters on this team. I believe I have 3 or 4 of them on this team though, so it's not going to be forced to run rocks every week, which is definitely something I've had issues with in the past. I feel like hazards are something I don't always draft very well, so I'm glad I have, you know, quite a few of them on this team. Now, the reason I love this mon is because of how strong it is. Base 130 attack hits so hard. Icicle Crash, Earthquake, Knockoff, even Ice Shard. Ice Shard's a very nice move to have. And there is definitely some other options right there. Stone Edge, Iron Head, Superpower. Even though those 3 moves I'd run a lot less probably, they are there for if I would like to use them. This thing also gets Fig Fat, which again, very nice ability. Specialist, this thing does not have too great defense. It's nice to actually be able to take a fire hit with this, so that's something. The rest of its stats are pretty meh. Overall, like 80 speed is pretty okay actually, but 60 speed def, 80 defense, both aren't too good. Base 110 HP is very nice though, I have to admit. It's actually the highest HP stat we've had on this team, because both the previous mons only have base 80. So yeah, let's move on to my 4th mon. Now, originally, I wanted Milotic this round, but that got sniped, which I can't say I was too surprised about. I mean, I was really hoping it would fall to me, but it didn't. But Suicune did, which I don't know why. Like, Suicune, in my opinion, is probably better than Milotic. I guess Milotic does get more options, so I can kind of see why that went first. You know, just having options to do things like Recover and Haze, not being forced to rest. But I was still surprised this fell to me, so Suicune's a very nice mon. First of all, it gives me a physical defense wall, so that's something that I like a lot. I mean, this thing actually has good bulk on both sides. Base 100 HP and base 115 in both defenses. So this thing is going to be taking quite a few hits, which, of course, it's going to be required to do, as it's one of my more bulky mons. doesn't really do too much offensively. I mean, Calm Mind with like Scald and Ice Beam is very nice. It hits pretty hard when you get enough boosts, and this thing can potentially just get those boosts up and win games. That is definitely one of the things I'm going for this season. Of course, Rest Sleep Talk is very common on this, and you know, I'm gonna run that. Let's be real, that's gonna happen. This thing actually gets some other nice stuff. Of course, Toxic for those Pokemons that I can take down with this Pokemon. Tailwind is right there, which I'm gonna be honest, I actually didn't know this thing got Tailwind until I just looked at what it has move-wise. So yeah, that realistically is it. I mean, it gets some more offensive options like Signal Beam, Shadow Ball, Extra Sensory, Air Slash. Why does it get Air Slash? I don't know. Hydro Pump, and of course Hidden Power. So has offensive options, but mostly there to be a bulky mon with like Calm Mind, Rest Sleep Talk, and an offensive move, stuff like that. But let's move on to my 5th pick. Now, originally I was going to grab this mon round 4, however, it was in the fire sale for that round. And one of the rules that was set for this, personally I don't like the rule, but it's there, so I of course have to use it, is that if a mon is on fire sale, you cannot buy it normally. And I definitely had the points to buy this on fire sale if I wanted to, but I didn't really want to use those points now. I wanted this as a tier 3 mon, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's tier 3, right? Yeah, this is tier 3. I didn't want to waste those points to buy it as tier 4, because that would mean I couldn't get a tier 2 mon unless that went on fire sale again. And that would and there's not much chance that I'd get exactly what I wanted out of that. So I waited till the next round, since it's only an additional 2 picks, as this was around, it was coming straight back to me. So I picked Haxorus. Now, I love this Pokemon. This is probably my favorite dragon to use, so I'm very excited to get to use this in here. Base 147 attack is so scary. Like, this thing can get 1 to 2 Dragon Dances up and win games. And the only issue I really feel like it has is that speed. Base 97 is not too good, and I'm pretty sure this actually gets outsped by some things even at +1 that aren't Scarfed, and of course it gets outsped by Scarf as a +1, quite a lot of them. Getting outsped by base 100s isn't too good, but it's not the biggest issue in my opinion. Having some pretty okay abilities, mainly Mold Breaker. Ignoring opponents' abilities is very nice. Things like Sturdy could get around. I can't even think of what other abilities that could help against. There's definitely some, but I can't think about them. I can't figure any of those out right now. But anyway, this thing is mainly here to just click Dragon Dance and just kill things. I mean, it's one of my most offensive mons, if not the most offensive mon I have on this draft, and I am so excited to get to use this with the rest of this team. So, I mean, at +1, or even without +1, it has some pretty okay options. Aqua Tail, Brick Break, Dragon Claw, Outrage, Earthquake, Low Kick, Night Slash, X-Scissor, even, Superpower, and Rock Slide, and Poison Jab. And Return if you wanted to go with normal stab, which I probably won't ever run Return, because I guarantee if I ever went Return, I'd forget that I'd forget about getting my happiness up, and I would I'd have like min happiness Return, which doesn't hit hard at all if you don't know. So yeah, that will never happen, but the other moves could happen, especially things like Poison Jab, because that can break down fairies. Like, that destroys fairies. Doesn't OHKO too many at +1. I know that some of the bulkier ones can definitely take a +1 Poison Jab. Sylveon, Aromatisse could probably take that, and a few others. So a +2 though, this thing completely just breaks walls. So one of the other things I like about this is this definitely is a mon that forces prep. That's something I feel like this whole team does so far, and that's something that this whole team does overall, is it forces a lot of prep, because some of my mons, if you don't prep for them, can just win the game. This is definitely one of those mons. So anyway, let's move on to my 6th pick. Now, you may have noticed I haven't got a tier 1 Pokemon yet. And in a way, I regret doing that, because I got something that I really didn't want too much. But when I looked at Tier 1, this definitely fit on my team the best, in my opinion. And that is Zapdos. I don't know. I don't know what it is about Zapdos, but I just don't really like it. Its stats are pretty alright. I mean, base 100 speed, base 125 special attack, 90 HP, 90 attack, 90 SPDF, and then 85 defense. I mean, it takes some hits, which is nice. It has access to Roost, of course, so it can take those hits and cover it off. Gets access to both U-Turn and Volt Switch, which is very nice. This is my first form of hazard clearing with Defog, which is definitely something I feel like my team does struggle with when you're gonna see the full draft. It's something that I definitely want to probably fix in free agencies. But offensively wise, this hits pretty hard. I mean, it has base 125, but doesn't have the most options there. I mean, you have T-Bolt, you have Hidden Power, you have Heat Wave, you have Extra Sensory, and you have Signal Beam. And that's pretty much it. I guess you also do have Volt Switch, but T-Bolt hits harder, of course. I'd assume this has Thunder as well, right? Yeah. But I don't know if I'd ever want to run Thunder, because of the accuracy, of course. So, yeah, definitely not the tier 1 I was really hoping to get. I don't know what I was exactly looking at. I have to admit, I was going for those first 5 rounds before really even thinking about my tier 1. But honestly, I don't like Zapdos, but I do feel like it fits this team pretty well. Another one that gets access to Tailwind, so that's at least nice. You know, I said about my Haxorus not being too fast and my Malmo not being too fast. I can speed them up with Tailwind pretty easily if I want to. So, anyway, let us move on to the 7th pick of the draft. I believe this was my second tier 3, and that is P2. I really like P2. P2 is so bulky with the EVO light. I mean, its stats are actually pretty meh when you look at them. Base 85 HP, 90 defense, 95 SPDF. But when you put the EVO light on, those both, all its stats get boosted, all the defense and SPDF get boosted, which, you know, is very helpful, I have to admit. Base 105 special attack is definitely not bad for a mon that's going to be used primarily to be bulky. Because, you know, if I ever did want to run something offensive, this thing can hit very offensively. Like, if I ran, like, Choice Specs P2, I could break balls with that. Okay, I definitely want to run that. If we get into, like, the last few weeks of the season and I'm already knocked out of playoffs or locked in for playoffs, I want to use Specs P2. That would be fun. But anyway, this thing gets some nice options. You know, it gets Recover, which is very nice for a wall like this. Toxic, this is going to be a mon I feel like does have to use Toxic Stall potentially at some point. Tri-Attack hits very hard against some things with the 20% chance to Paralyze, Burn, or Freeze. I guarantee I will get at least 3 mons status off that move this season. That is a prediction that I am making right now. This mon also gets T-Wave, which I really like. Being able to slow down those bigger threats for the rest of my team to be able to break later is very nice. Foul Play is definitely something I very much like, as, you know, this is a mon I feel like you definitely would look at and see you could set up on this potentially. But with Foul Play, it generally stops those physical sweepers pretty well, which I really do like. Of course, special sweepers are still definitely very threatening, and definitely could set up on this, but, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, Magearna, hard swap, I could let Mon set up on P2, and take the boost with Magearna. I honestly doubt I'll ever do that, but maybe. I believe this also gets both screens, which is very nice. Actually, does it not? It gets Reflect, does it not get Light Screen? It doesn't get Light Screen, it gets Reflect, but not Light Screen. That's kind of whack. Offensive-wise, it doesn't have the best options, but it can hit pretty much everything neutrally. I mean, it gets Hidden Power, of course. Discharge, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Tri-Attack, and Thunderbolt are really the offensive moves you're going to be using. So, anyway, let's move on to my tier 4 mon. Bronzong. I definitely needed a kind of rock and ground resist. I mean, I have Zapdos for ground types, but when I'm clicking Roost, they can hit me with those with Earthquake, Earth Power, any other ground move, and hit me very hard. Of course, they can hit Bronzong if I run Heat Proof, but I'm probably going to run Levitate a lot more. So that's nice. A Rock Resist is definitely nice, as my team doesn't handle Rock types too well, in my opinion. So that's nice. It is also a second mon with Stealth Rocks, which is very nice, as that's definitely something I did need with this team. This is more a utility mon than anything else. I mean, Trick Room is definitely something I might use on this, and P2 as well. I forgot to mention that. Trick Room on both of these two is going to be very nice if I do plan to, because I do want to use Trick Room at least once this season, as I feel like my team can really work with Trick Room, so that's something at least. Offensively, this doesn't hit hard at all. I mean, like, stats-wise, this is more bulky than anything. Base 116 on both defenses. Only base 67 HP, which kind of sucks, but I mean, what can you do? It's a tier 4 mon. I can't expect too good stats. Base 89 attack is not terrible. Base 79 special attack, again, it's not terrible. Base 33 speed's definitely terrible, but considering Trick Room is something I would run on this sometimes, I'm not too concerned about speed. This can hit hard if you need it to, though. Jarable's very nice, again, for those setup sweepers that want to try and set up on this. If they have speed boosting setup sweepers, Jarable is very nice against them. Earthquake hits pretty hard against some stuff, against quite a few things. Rock Slide is, again, something that would hit pretty hard. And then, of course, Explosion, which that hits actually really powerfully. Even with the base 250 attack, base 250 power on that move, though, it still probably won't kill most stuff because it's a Bronzong. But yeah, moving on. Leavanny. Okay, this is definitely, I feel like maybe this was a mistake of a pick for me, because I wanted those webs, and I do feel like they could work for me pretty well, as mons like Haxorus and Mamoswine definitely do work on the webs, but overall I don't know if webs were the best play for me. I mean, this thing's stats are pretty okay, everything's lower than base 100 other than attack, but I mean, this can hit pretty hard. That's something I feel like people definitely would underestimate. This mon hits extremely hard, well, not extremely hard, but it hits pretty hard, with physical moves such as Knockoff, Leaf Blade, X-Scissor, Shadow Claw, Poison Jab, Facade, when status, which probably wouldn't be much, but you know, that's something. It also gets like Swords Dance, Synthesis, so that's something. I mean, you could be a sub Swords Dance Leavanny, that could be fun, potentially. I don't really know what to say about this mon, because generally I do believe this will be a mon I drop in free agencies. I already have another tier 5 I want on my draft, so yeah, this might get dropped. Depends how much I actually value webs. But it will be on the team for like a week or two at least, minimum. I do want to bring it to a game before actually dropping it. I want to see if it could actually work for me, but after that, we'll see. Moving on. So remember that time I said about wanting to be able to grab a tier 2 with my free agent, with my points picks? Well, yeah, I grabbed a Nihilego, which, considering I didn't have a rock or a poison type, I feel pretty happy about this one. It's definitely one of the ones I'm very glad I grabbed. This is also one of my 2 Z users. I'll show you the other one in a second. That's my last pick, but Nihilego. First of all, rocks and T-Spikes, very nice. I love having access to T-Spikes on this team, and I also love having access to rocks on another mon. This hits extremely hard. I mean, actually, it doesn't hit extremely hard, but it hits pretty hard. I mean, base 127 special attack, base 131 SPDF, base 103 speed, base 109 HP. Pretty good stats overall. Physical defense is only 47 though, so I'm not leaving this in on a physical hit. But it can take special hits pretty well. One thing I need to make sure I do in this season is EV this right. I've used, I think, only one Ultra Beast in the past. No, I think I've used 2. I've used Buzzwole and I've used Stack Attacker. I may have used one more, but I've used both of those, and I've definitely EV'd the Stack Attacker set wrong multiple times in the season I used that. as I always EV'd it to where it got a defense boost instead of an attack boost. And I feel like I'm going to make that mistake here at least once with special attack and SPDEF, as SPDEF is higher. It is higher with no EVs. So I have to make sure I don't make that mistake this season, unless I want the SPDEF boost, of course. But yeah, hopefully I don't make that mistake. Has some pretty alright coverage. You know, hidden power, of course, dazzling gleam, acid spray for the double SPDEF drop, which I really do like. Clear smog to get rid of boosts, which again, that's very nice. Foul play is a pretty nice physical move. I know it doesn't have much physical attack, but I do kind of like foul play anyway. Power gem, sludge wave, and sludge bomb are very nice. Thunderbolt's very good for this. And I don't know why I said Thunderbolt's better than Sludge Wave and Power Gem. Those two are definitely better than Thunderbolt, but Thunderbolt's nice as well. So yeah, doesn't have the best coverage. I mean, it gets Psychic and Psyshock as well, but still does not get the best coverage. But it's still a good mon, and I'm really glad I grabbed this. So I'm excited to use this one. Moving on to my final mon, we have our Maldo. This is my second Z-mon, as you do have to... The Z-mons in this work like if you Z a tier 1, you can only Z a tier 5. If you Z a tier 2, which I did one hill ago, you can only give the other Z to a tier 4 or a tier 5, and I'm giving it to this Armaldo. I mean, my only options were Bronzong, Leavanny, and Armaldo. Honestly, I kind of regret not giving it to Leavanny. I kind of wish I did do that, but I don't know. I'm interested to see how Armaldo does this season anyway. The reason I grabbed this is mainly Rapid Spin, you know, hazard clearing. This is the second mon that can hazard clear on this team, and considering both of the mons that hazard clear on this team are weak to hazards, weak to rocks, I'm definitely going to need to make a change to grab another one. But this thing's pretty nice as a tier 5. I mean, offensively is pretty much how you're going to run this. Maybe defensively, I guess, with the base 100 defense. Base 75 HP isn't too bad. Base 125 attack is actually pretty good overall. So that's something. And it does get some alright options. I mean, it gets Aqua Jet as priority, which is definitely nice. Earthquake, Brick Break, Knockoff, Liquidation, Rock Blast, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Superpower, Exeter. So pretty alright options. Not the best, but I do like some. I do like the water options there. That's definitely something nice, as I don't really have too much water offense on this team other than Suicune. So yeah, that's the whole team. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the team overall. I do feel like it's a pretty good team. Although I do kind of feel like I grabbed a bit too much bulk with this one. I mean, we'll see. I originally did not intend to grab this much bulk, but I mean, I have it now, so, you know, we'll just wait and see how this goes. Our week 1, we are playing Ditto, Coach of the Devious Dittos, hoping to pick up a week 1 win. That's definitely a goal I have for this season. I want to start the season with a positive game. So, yeah, anyway, that's going to be this whole video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye. Goodbye.